program usually check men. After you have a checkup that you have an every year, so you can liaise with the team and you come there once a year. Then after the call, then you check you very well every year, so that at least you get to use your cover and you get checked. Okay, so I'll start with a quote by one called Franklin. He says, "Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own mind." So we go straight to the prostate. So the prostate, all men have a prostate, and it's a gland that is found just below the bladder. It has a very important function of helping us produce something called semen. Okay. Then for every man as it grows, it keeps becoming bigger, but then sometimes it can turn out to be cancerous. Okay. Um, Now we need to highlight what are the risk factors that causes somebody to get prostate cancer. One is an advancement of age. So from the age of 50, it is a risk factor associated with uh, development of prostate cancer, and that's why we encourage all men to frequently visit hospital, especially as they advance. A family history of prostate cancer puts you at risk of also developing prostate cancer. So that's also an associated risk factors. Then another one that has been highlighted is things like obesity. Obesity is associated with development of prostate cancer. Now, the next question is, what are the signs and symptoms of prostate cancer? So in the early phase, it's usually asymptomatic. Most men are able to live their normal lives without knowing what is going on. For others, they tend to come very early, and they're lucky because we tend to do a number of tests to check them, and then incidentally we find that something called a PSA is elevated, and that's when we start to follow them up closely. So for most men, especially in the early phase, it's usually asymptomatic. As it now develops, most men develop what we call the lower urinary tract symptoms, which now, like what when they come to a clinic, they say, nowadays I don't pee well. Either they wake up so many times at night to pee, they feel they're straining too much to pee, or they feel when they pee they're not able to void completely. Those are some of the symptoms that occur during the early phases of the prostate cancer. Now, when the prostate cancer now has developed now to the it's advanced, so now they develop what we call constitutional symptoms. They now present with things saying they have lost a lot of weight. They complain of now other places, like they complain of back pain, unexplained fever. All those are the symptoms that they do present. Now, for the last question that you had asked, what is the importance of what's the importance of early screening? One, it allows us to have early detection. If you have prostate cancer and you're able to be detected early, one, it gives us as doctors a very good array. We have multiple options to treat you at that particular point. Okay, and for all men, especially once you reach the age of 40, and Dr. Wake, you kindly feel free to visit us anytime and just make it a norm to come for frequent hospital visits and checks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as I had mentioned, is that after 40, Dr. Tayo had mentioned it, that after 40 years for a man, have an annual checkup. And Dr. Chemai has iterated that, just that visit, that annual visit is very vital, because I work in a clinic, and most men who come to the clinic find that they are hypertensive, their pressure is high, and whatever brought them to the clinic is a totally different thing. And some of them, you tell them, you have hypertension, and they say no, inakwanga tu juu nikifika hospitali, otherwise inakwanga tu sawa. And it is something that we need to have these conversations about, not walking in that denial, we as men. So that person will come after 2-3 months for another visit, and you tell them, did you go to see the doctor about your blood pressure? And they say no. So by the time they are now landing in Dr. Tayo's clinic or Dr. Chemai's clinic, already the heart has enlarged, there are some irreversible damage to the heart. So whatever can be done is only to try and just improve the function of the heart. So as men, we need to have those annual checkups. Don't miss them, don't skip them. So on that, I will still remain around reproductive health, and I want to invite Dr. Wanjala to talk to us about erectile dysfunction and fertility challenges in men, and also myths and facts about the testosterone level. So karibu sana, Dr. Wanjala.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, team. And I would say that, yeah, I think Men Talk, this is a very good forum for us. And as the colleagues were busy conversing and telling us, educating us, what was running in my mind is that how many of us are over 40 in this forum? And I was looking at ourselves and I'm seeing few of us. And I'm like, I think we needed to drum our sounds a little harder to make sure that the target group is really well in the catch. And I hope Asha and team and the next upcoming forums will try to drum hard to these age groups so that they may be able to get all this information so that we do the early catch. Nevertheless, like we say, prevention is better than cure. Us catching you, the young teams, is, I think, well in time, is well captured, and I think it's good to begin taking care of your health while it's early enough. So at age 40, please begin to utilize your cover well as a man, as a father in the home, and a dad for that matter, so that then you don't miss out on these privileges, and you keep running a cover for 30 years and you have only appeared twice. So benefit, keep having these frequently, like Dr. Weku and Dr. Tayo have mentioned. Now, coming back to sexual matters, men, ED, erectile dysfunction, is actually a common scenario, a common condition that lives with men, where actually as a man, you are not able to effectively or satisfactorily function or perform your manhood or male issue duties, and this is seen in so many ways, where actually when we talk about erectile dysfunction, we are meaning that you as a man, you are not able to sustain the strength of your really man down there. You know, when we say man, we are looking at ourselves just in our suits and shirts and trousers, but there's another man quietly and silently resting. And when he's called onto duty, then he begins to say, I think you've called me too early. And he begins to say, maybe you've called me too late. So he's not able to stand and defend our clan. So, and when it comes to that moment, then many of us get withdrawn. And actually, psychologically, and I'm sure Dr. Weko will actually attest to this, that many men are suffering mentally just as a result of failure to feel satisfactory or satisfying to their performance with their female counterparts. So what is the issue here? So we are saying that testosterone has a very key factor in influencing how we operate as men. And so it is with critical importance that in men health, we learn to run for screening and understanding how we are, at what levels we are in our matter testosterone, which is a hormone, actually a male hormone that defines who we are, that influences our characteristics, that influences our masculinity, that we keep advancing over our female counterparts. So, as Karen Hospital, we know that with a vast range of testing capacity and capabilities, we are able to evaluate you and tell you that, please, you need to improve this way in terms of either your diet, your rest, because if you are not resting well, you are not going to run well, because a healthy mind must be in a healthy body, and rest will be very key to men to be able to actually experience better health. So when it comes to erectile dysfunction, we've said it can manifest in several ways, or in many ways. One way is one, you cannot sustain an erection or remain standing firm, strong, and be able to run your race well. And I think I want to differ from the timing of your race, because races are different. We have sprints, 100 meters. We have track events where you're going to actually run 15 kilometers. So those races are different. Depends on which race you are ready for and timing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon again. Amanda, yes, I am a medical doctor by profession, but I don't use doctor because it's not part of my birth certificate. Nonetheless, I would like to just make it a little bit more interactive, yes? Can you turn to your neighbor, and especially if your neighbor is a lady, tell her men need care packages too. Tell her men need care packages too, right? The reason as to why is because men matter. Cindy, you also need care packages. So this is a challenge to you ladies, and the men, please bear witness. Next year on Men's Day, please ensure that your wife gets you a care package. So, ladies, tuchangamke pia. Sawa sawa. All right. Again, in the spirit of making it a bit more interactive, I have 3 seconds. I'll give you 3 seconds, and in these 3 seconds, I have 500 shillings that I'm going to give anybody who answers this question in the next 3 seconds. All right? What is the name of the prostate gland in Kiswahili? 1, 2, 3. I'll add you 2 more seconds. 4, 5. Man, you're doing poorly. It's called Tezi Dume, please. Tezi Dume. Sawa sawa. So imagine I'm going back with my 500 gold. Another one. Anyway, so yes, I've been asked to talk about cancers, most common cancers that affect men, and the lifestyle changes that you can do to avoid these risks. For starters, I don't like assuming that people know what cancer is. So I'll give you an example. Take a balloon, right? Right next to the balloon, put even a string of ribbon and a string of ribbon on both sides. Then I want you to add water onto that balloon. What's going to happen to the ribbon? It's going to be displaced, right? So that essentially is what cancer does to you. So cancer comes from Greek. That means what? Tumor. And what is a tumor? A mass. A mass that comes out from cells that have overgrown and they have refused, quote unquote, to die. So that essentially, when you put it in a confined space, it's going to displace other organs, right? So if it was somewhere in your stomach, what's going to happen? Itafinyilia nini? Matumbo kule chini, sindio? What's going to happen when you have prostate cancer again? It can come up, it can press on your bladder. What's going to happen when you have colon cancer? It can press on other organs, all right? So at least now you have an understanding of what cancer is, okay? All right, so what are some of the most common cancers that affect men? We talk prostate, we talk colon, we talk lung. If you read most of the research papers, majority of the time they'll say most of these cancers are more or less, men are more or less predisposed to these cancers. And why? And I love the fact that those questions were interlinked because of the behavioral activities. What do I mean? Things like, and my professor in university used to joke and say, even if you do not know the cause of a single cancer, you will never go wrong by saying what? Cigarette smoking. I'm sure in the middle of the night to do an exam, just write cigarette smoking and you'll never go wrong, all right? So that is one of the most detrimental effects that smoking has is by causing cancer, all right? The other thing, alcohol. And who is the, when you go to 1824 today, and I take a statistic of the men and women at 1824 today, what will be the statistics? I mean, just tell me. Who? The guys, right? Yeah. Again, so it goes without saying. So the more and more you expose yourself to such factors, the more and more you're predisposed to getting cancers. It's obvious, it's very simple, it's not rocket science, all right? So those are some of the things that we can do in order to avoid some of these cancers. Again, my colleague, and I'm very happy to be seated next to him, Mark, he'll come and he'll talk about a lot of exercise, right? Exercise, our lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle. Again, another leading cause of a lot of these tumors, all right? So you live a very sedentary lifestyle, you don't eat healthy, and men, when I say we eat fruits and vegetables, simaanishi mboga ya kiluya, I don't mean just chicken and meat all the time, all right? I mean fruits and vegetables, actually fruits and vegetables. Take time to eat those things because they have antioxidants which help in eradicating some of these cancers, all right? So yes, moving back to now the cancers, we're talking about, my colleague has already talked about the prostate, Cindy. Now we already know it's called Tezi Dume. So again, I will not interrogate on that. I will move. We'll go towards talking about colon cancer. Colon cancer, if you can remember, who did 844 here? In class, was it grade 5? Grade 5, grade 5 is class 5, Cindy. Do you remember drawing the alimentary canal? And then if you at a point you're drawing Matumbo, Cindy. There was that part that was coming up like this, and then the other one down. So that is the colon, and that is what is going to be affected by cancer. Now, a fun fact that you need to know, cancer affects any cell that is growing, any cell that is replicating will be affected by cancer, apart from only 3, all right? What are these 3? Nails, teeth, and hair, the dead cells, all right? So apart from that, every other organ in your body is predisposed to cancer. Okay, so yes, we have colon cancer that usually tends to affect men and women, but mostly men. All right, it's divided into 2. I will not go into details, but there's one that affects the right side. Now, can you do this for me? Just follow the hands up from the right, then down on the left. All right. So the right side tends to affect women more, and it's more salient. It is less obvious, all right? Then as we go down, the left side tends to affect more men, all right? And it is more obvious, all right? In science or in medicine, we say if, let's say your father or unfortunately your sibling or any other person in your family was affected by cancer, let's give it an age diagnosis at like 40 years. You're supposed to start screening 10 years younger than that, all right? So if, unfortunately, let's say somebody had a diagnosis of cancer at 40 years, for you, you're supposed to start at 30 years, the screening process, all right? Yeah. For lung cancer, again, it's pretty obvious. Even if I walk here right now, I am pretty sure I will meet a majority of the people who will be smoking. Again, unfortunately, guys, it's you, you know. So even if I was to take a statistic in terms of how many people or the total number of lung cancer cases that I will get, again, who ends up bearing the brunt? Guys. So again, I will emphasize and I will not underscore the importance of a healthy lifestyle. Forget that cigarette, toss it aside and choose to live a healthier life. Sawa. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you say? Was it a good idea to get a lady on the panel? Men in the house?
Yeah.
Men in the house? Men in the house? Good, thank you. So, now I want us to still diversify again and invite Mr. Kasioka to talk about kidney disease care and how to navigate kidney issues as a man. So pass the mic. Already you have it. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon. First, it's an honor to be here among you guys. So I honor you all, the speakers and also the people who managed to attend today's event. So thank you for coming. My name is Ronald Gasioka, as I had said earlier. I'm a keen health advocate and also an author of a book which I'll be sharing with you guys. And we also run an organization where we are supporting dialysis patients and their caregivers with a specific focus on children on dialysis. We offer psychosocial support, advocacy, and creating awareness on matters kidney disease. So kidneys, let me first start by talking about what kidneys are. So kidneys are important organs in our body. They keep our body healthy by flushing out the toxins. So each person has two kidneys. They are normally located here at the back side or upper back side of the abdomen. Here, you have two kidneys. And there are some cases where you find people who have one kidney, and in other cases where if a person has donated. So when you have kidney disease, one of the options of treatment is kidney transplant. And in kidney transplant is where now a healthy person offers to donate one of these kidneys so that it could save your life. And you can be able to survive as a donor, you can be able to survive with one kidney because it takes up the work that could have been done by the two kidneys. So that is not a problem having a one kidney. Normally it's able to perform the work that it's supposed to do. And as I said, that kidneys are located here at the upper back side of the abdomen, and that you have two kidneys. First, allow me to share a little bit of my story. So my story starts from a place of pain. So I faced it from a young age, from around 2013 with this condition they call nephrotic syndrome. And I was on treatment from that time up until around 2019 now, when now it progressed now to kidney failure. And I started dialysis treatment, which I normally do twice a week, that is on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I'm in the process actually of preparing for a kidney transplant. As I mentioned that when one has kidney disease, that is kidney failure, the end-stage renal disease, one of the treatment options is dialysis and transplantation. So on dialysis is normally not a cure, but it's where now you have to dialysis does the work that could have been done by the kidney. So it takes up the work of now cleaning your the blood, the toxin, removing the toxin from the body, and also the excess fluids from the body. And one of the importance and the vital work that the kidneys does is removing now the removing the waste products from the body, and also excess fluids, and also kidneys they have work in red blood cells production, and also ensuring that you have healthy bones. So that is one of the work that the kidneys does. And to take care of your kidneys as a healthy person, one of the things that you need to take in mind is being fit and also active. Being fit and active, that is regular exercises, because when you are able to engage in such exercises, you find that it maintains your blood pressure and also controls your blood sugars, and that can keep away problems like high blood pressure and diabetes. And research has been shown that diabetes and high blood pressure are the leading causes of kidney disease. So people who have diabetes and high blood pressure, they normally end up having kidney disease. So when you are able to keep fit, and other thing is ensure that you have a balanced diet. When you talk of balanced diet, that balanced diet, we mean that eating fresh fruits and vegetables, because uh, in our generation, the time that we are currently living, most people are used to the fast foods. Those are packaged like sugar, they have sugars, fats, and those are the things that you should keep away from. And other thing, you find most people, when you have maybe a headache or even a stomach ache, you find that people go over to the chemist and they obtain over-the-counter medications, and that is not normally advised by the doctors, because uh, continuous use of painkillers without consulting a doctor can cause damage to your kidneys. So it's always advised that when you have a headache or maybe a stomachache or any pain, it's always advised that you consult a doctor so that they be able to guide you on what you are supposed to do. And also, make sure that you seek, for men who are over 40 years, as doctor said, make sure that you go for an annual checkup, because for people who are over 40 years, they are in risk of diseases like diabetes and heart disease. So it's always advised that you go for annual checkup, because one of the strange thing with kidney disease is that it's a silent killer, and it does not show symptoms and signs. So it has done that it has reached the advanced stages that it now start to show things like you start swelling, or maybe
Thank you. Talk about the role of exercise and diet in preventing and nutritional needs specific to men across different age groups. Karibu sana. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all of you. I would want you all of you to stand up first. Stand up, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Hi. 3 jumps. 1, 2, and 3. Set instructions, eh? For the men, it's... And what we said? What word did you say you said?
When men talk.
No. Au.
Oh, men in the house.
The men, it's au. And for the ladies now, you celebrate us, men. Ladies, celebrate us, eh? How do you celebrate ladies? Eh? Yeah, those celebrations now. So for the men, it's 5. Is it 5? It's 5. And for the ladies, it's? No. Ladies, this is what you're going to do. Okay. Yeah. Men, it's au. 5. Okay. 3, 2, go. Let's go. Au. Yeah, learn that. One thing of now you can have a seat. Okay, one thing I want you to learn is that men are very important. Also, ladies celebrate us. As much as you ladies are winning, you also need us men. And me telling you to stand up and do that, I'm showing you on how to expend energy. Many a times, food, I'm talking about nutrition and fitness. Nutrition is the food that we intake, and fitness is what we do. How do we expend this energy? I want you to expend this energy in a positive way, not going there and beating ladies like right now, what we have right now. What is happening in the country right now?
We call it
Femicide. Men, stop channeling your energy into beating women. That's not right.
But even men,
Yeah.
women are beating men.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the thing is respect. And now let's talk about, I want us to first actively recall, by the way, thank you very much, I was the last. At least now we can actively recall all what the past speakers have said. And now with that, we channel in nutrition. So let's start up with the mental part. And I want to see if you guys have understood. Let me channel in here first. What did you hear him say? Only one thing. Anything that you've heard him say about mental health, eh?
You seek help.
You seek help?
Yes.
Good.
And then, yes.
You seek help. That is one thing. You seek help. Majorly right now, most men, ukisikia uko na stress, umetoka kazi, mambo yendi, boss hakukanyangishi chini. In hospital right now, your boss is not letting you rest. Eh? It's project after project. You get stressed, you go home, you're stressed. Maybe it's financial burden. What do men do? They go to the bar and drink. Okay? They go take alcohol, in which alcohol has empty calories. And with that, now let's go to the next thing. I think he talked about prostate health and man, nikifanya hivi nasema nini? Man, inamaanisha nini? Inamaanisha nini? No, si nayo bana. We talked about the rat man bana. The third leg in men. This leg, umekunywa alcohol. What happens to your belly? What happens to your belly? Continuously, you've been having alcohol for 3 months. What happens to your belly? That's what happens, Stomach is here. And your third man is? If the size was this way, the size reduces to half. Let's talk it the way it is. Yeah. So the thing is, men, seek help. You having trouble in life, it doesn't mean that you're deemed to failure or something. You go, seek help. Sit down with someone, talk with someone, okay? I've been a personal trainer for long. That's what I do to now. And I've been having clients, most men. And a man is there, he's going to come to the gym and he's very sad. He's going to tell you, hey boss, leo nataka tufanye nikimbia tu kwa treadmill, I just sit down and I go home. He's just coming there to pass time because of all the things that he's going through. So in terms of mental health, mse ako na shida zake anakuja hapo hivyo and you're not talking to him. No, so you need to help him. Okay? So one thing is cut down on alcohol because 1 gram of alcohol equals to 7 kilocalories that are empty calories. Another thing for the men, I'm going to cut across all ages, the 20s to 30 years old men. Your metabolism is high or low? High. High, exactly. Your metabolism is high. So what do you need? A lot of energy. And this energy, where do you get them from? Any food that you know that gives you energy. Chapo. Chapo, good. Chapo. You said it well. Those are carbohydrates, So in every time that you intake, I'm sure like 60% of it is carbohydrates. You're young. You need a lot of energy. You are going there to study. Most of them, when I came, I found you and a certain group there. And they were discussing about, med school, okay. You need energy to study. Is that true? And once you sit down, you studying, you expand a lot of energy. So you need a lot of energy. So that's for the carbohydrates he has talked about, chapo. And then another good thing is that was talked about is the antioxidants. These are foods that you're going to find in berries and almonds. Another example, wacha niulize daktari. Let's say fruits, Let's say fruits, generally fruits. So once you eat this, once you have a balance of fruits that are rich in vitamin C, they get to cut off these free radicals in your body and reducing the danger of you having prostate cancer, liver, colon, whatever, those sort of types of cancer that you are having as men. So the next thing I'm going to talk about protein. And when I came in and we were sitting there with Amanda and we were discussing, and she told me, "You have not been active for long." She's telling me she's been into the gym. She goes to the gym or she does any physical activity. What happens next? DOMS, delay onset muscle soreness. What brings in DOMS? You go there, you perform, not necessarily doing gym stuff. You go and work for example, for a long distance and you have some soreness, you feel soreness into your legs and throughout your muscles. So that's the DOMS, delay onset muscle soreness. It takes three days to recover. In which, for your muscle fibers, there are some macro tears that happen when you exercise, some micro tears that happen. So your body needs the parasympathetic system for recovery. That is when you sleep. What you were discussing here. That's why you need rest. Rest. And if it persists, ice. Apply some ice. So it's ice, rest, recover. It's going to recover and your body is going to finish. So in terms of, it's very important. During your recovery, they say what you eat is what you are. What you are. What you eat is what you are. Okay? The saucer it looks, the more dangerous it is. KFC. Talk up, hey man, I don't want to cook today. let me go have some KFC and sleep. Man, squeezing that KFC this way, what do you see? Trans fats. We have three types of fats. There is the saturated fats, the unsaturated fats, and we have the trans fats. These are fats that you're going to find in the supermarkets mostly, that are altered to increase their shelf life. And now we have the saturated fats that are rich in LDL, the low density lipoprotein that is very dangerous for your health, in that it goes and clogs in your lumens and your blood vessels. So if your blood vessel, for example, let me give you an example. Hey, my doctor, sijasema inatoshana hivi, sikuwe precise. I've just taken an example, okay? So if let's say your blood vessel is this, there's something known as a dense plaque, eh? So that cholesterol comes and clogs all the way over time. So what happens? What happens when you clog up your blood vessels? No. Don't overthink. Nini inapita kwa blood vessels? Blood, si ndio? So what happens to your blood when it is passing? So if it was passing through this type of pathway, and this pathway has reduced to that size, what happens? Good. Blood pressure. Increase of blood pressure. And what happens to your heart? It's struggling to pump the blood. So the cardiac output is lowers. Okay? Because of the stroke volume design, the cardiac output is less because of the pressure, because the surface has reduced. The surface of output has reduced. So, let me give you the remedy to it. It's never too late to start. That's another thing that I'm going to tell you. If you've been living that type of life, it's never too late to start. Start exercising. If you don't know how to, come, nifuata nikitoka hapa hivi. I've said I was once a personal trainer, but right now I'm going more into research and studies deeper into it. So you come, we'll structure up a program, and I'll guide you through a program that is going to enable you get to a fitter position, whereby it's going to prevent you from having these cardiac diseases and free up radicals, where give you a good nutritional plan. Okay. With that said, let's talk now about exercise physiology kidogo. Now how the body functions when you exercise. So that's another thing. We have chronic adaptations and we have the acute adaptations. The chronic adaptations, you can't come to the gym day one, or you can't come and I'm also a sports scientist. You want to go to start playing ball and you want to look like Ronaldo, or you've just started like him in black there, and you want to be like me. How is that possible? Mimi nachukua miaka yangu 3 safi, kila siku naamka asubuhi na jioni niko, and then you come the one you want to be like me. No. So that's what I'm talking about. Chronic adaptations. No, these are the chronic adaptations that we do have when performing exercises. Your body builds, breaks, it undergoes anabolism, catabolism, and build up continues. Whereby you go there, you tear up those muscle fibers, small micro tears, and then your parasympathetic system brings in, and the food that you're intaking, now the protein. Now the protein that you are having, it now builds up and strengthens. Pole. So it takes time. So the only thing I'm going to tell you is be patient. This is not a... You go to the toilet and then your blood is on, your urine is almost close. It's orange, almost brown or red. And also that affects your kidneys. That's another thing. Your water levels. You lower your water levels, it affects your kidneys. I'm talking about that, and I also had a problem with that. Me with water, I was struggling with having water a lot. To a point that I had to go to the hospital, and I was told to do my creatinine level is low. Okay, so we've talked about water, diet management. Okay, and you creating a good diet and a good nutrition and exercising. Exercise, eat well, look good, self-esteem rises up, and you remain to be a man. because you'll function proper. Okay? For those who have extra questions, I'm just there, okay? Have a good day. Man. Ladies.
Thank you, thank you. So I think we are, looks like God wants to bless us this afternoon. So I'm going to fast track it a bit and make it a bit faster and call in our last speaker, that is Mr. Salala, to talk about alcohol, substance abuse and addiction. I know it has been covered, so whatever was not spoken out is something that you can cover, like addressing addiction issues and long-term effects of alcohol and substance abuse on men's health. So, Mr. Salala, karibu sana. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Salala Young. As he has said, I'm a medical psychologist at Tranquil Med Center. So one thing I like to start with is that it's okay not to be. And we men sometimes, we die in silence. So today I want to tell you it's okay to cry, right? You just have to pick a conducive environment for you to be able to do that, right? It can be in the toilet, it can be in your car, it can be in your bedroom, right? Because for ladies, they are comfortable doing it anywhere, right? Because there are no tears labeled tears for men and tears for women. At the end of the day, it's okay to cry. What I am not advocating for Nile but it's okay to cry, right? So when you look at substance abuse, addiction, you'll find that there are things that are making men to go that particular direction. And first one is stress, anxiety, and depression. So when defining stress, we'll come to understand that it's either pressure or tension exerted on something, and then from stress, it transitions to anxiety. And explaining anxiety, I usually say it's a worry gone wild, or excessive worry. And then from there, it moves to depression. When you're looking at depression, there's nothing like a male depression or a female depression. Depression cuts across, but there are symptoms that are very common with men compared to women, right? Things like aggression, irritability, sudden anger, and such. So when looking at depression, it has two sides of the symptoms. We have the vegetative side, dealing with the physical health, and we have the subjective side, dealing with the emotions. So on the vegetative side, we have things like loss of sleep, loss of appetite, loss of energy. And on the subjective side, we have things like feelings of hopelessness, feelings of sadness, feelings of irritability. And you'll come to understand that all of us are going to respond differently to all these stressful situations. And why is that so? Because all of us are unique in our own way. And that comes back to our personality type. And when looking at personality type, we have what we call the personality types. We have the two categories. We have the Myers-Briggs ones, and then we have the ones denoted as A, B, C, D. And apart from that, we have what we call the temperament personality types. And again, we have what we call the personality disorders. So when looking at the personality types, there are 16 in number. We have things like the giver, the adventurous, the confronter, the commander, and all that. They are 16 in number. And then we have the other side whereby we have the A, B, C, D. And we also have what we call the temperament personality type. There are only 4. We have what we call the sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and then phlegmatic, right? And apart from that, we have what we call the personality disorders. There are 10 and they are clustered into 3 clusters. Cluster A, we have what we call the schizoid personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, and the paranoid personality disorder, usually characterized by a lot of suspiciousness. And then cluster B, we have what we call the borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, and one that our sisters and our significant others know how to diagnose a lot, the narcissistic personality disorder, right? Characterized by a lot of emotions. And then we have cluster C. Cluster C, we have the avoidant personality disorder, dependent personality disorder, and the obsessive compulsive personality disorder, usually denoted as OCD, characterized by a lot of anxiety issues. So when looking at personality, that's why we are all unique and we are going to respond to these stressful situations differently. So how can one manage these stressful situations? First, I usually say, get good, adequate sleep. And when I talk about good, adequate sleep, I'm not talking about you moving to your bed and that's the time you want to go to TikTok, you want to chat with your bae, you want to watch a movie. Today I want to tell you your bed is only for two purposes, sleeping and sex. One will say, what if I'm staying in a bed sitter and I'm using my bed as a seat? At that moment, in your mind, you're using your bed as a seat because you've not conditioned it that I want to sleep, right? And then we need to be able to have what we call problem-solving technique. And when I talk about this, I'm talking about we need to define a problem, think through the problem, look at the possible solution, pick the best, implement it, and then come to review. Why am I saying so? Because whatever solution we pick will always affect our tomorrow. And allow me to use this kind of bad example to my men brothers. For example, today you leave this place, you go back home, you find your wife with another man. How would you react? You can decide to kill them, you can decide to walk away, you can decide to chase them away, you can decide to join them, right? You can also decide to kill yourself, right? But if you decide to kill them, committee is waiting, right? If you decide to walk away or chase them away, yes, you'll be depressed, but that's where Tranquil Med Center, together with Jubilee Insurance, comes in to help you address that particular problem, right? And then we have what we call the mindfulness techniques. These mindful techniques include the breathing exercises, and these breathing exercises fall under autogenic relaxation. We also have the progressive relaxation dealing with muscle relaxation, and then we have the visualization. So when talking about this breathing exercise, allow me to just demonstrate two examples, whereby you close your eyes, close one of your nostrils, breathe in using the one open, close it, exhale using the other one. And you can do that for like 10 times. That is called the alternate breathing. And then you have what we call the box breathing, whereby you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it inside for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold it outside for 4 seconds. Another way to manage this stressful situation is through using the diversion techniques. And when talking about diversion techniques, basically these are things like doing exercise, going for a walk, praying, eating, cooking, and all that, right? So these are some of the things that push men towards addiction. And when looking at addiction, or ways on how one can stop addiction, you'll find that it's a decision or a choice one has to make. Therapy sessions are just there to support you in terms of being able to address this particular problem. Because we've had people who've stopped their addiction without going to a rehab or a mental institution. We've had people who have gone to mental institution, finished 3 months, some 1 month. And today, when you leave this place, I want you to go to your social media or to go to your Google. Google who came up with the idea that one has to finish 3 months in a rehab and you'll not find. Why? Because maybe the first person to go to rehab, 3 months worked for them. Why not 2 months? Why not 5 months? Why not 10 months? Why 3? Because it's a decision or a choice that you have to make, right? And what are some of the long-term effects of alcohol or addiction to the human body? First, it affects our brain. And you'll come to find that it will affect the communication pathways in our brain, basically dealing with coordination. And then when you come to look at the heart, it will lead to something called cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy basically is the stretching and flooding of our heart muscles. And then we have what we call arrhythmiasis, basically is the irregular heartbeats. And then we have stroke and high blood pressure. And it moves to the liver. What does it do to the liver? It leads to something called fatty liver, cirrhosis, fibrosis, right? And then pancreatitis. And then moves to pancreas. When it moves to the pancreas, you'll find that it will lead to the production of toxic substances, leading to what we call pancreatitis, right? So we need to take care of ourselves, but engaging in positive coping mechanism, because alcohol is a maladaptive or a negative coping mechanism, because at the end of the day, it's going to have an impact on your pocket and an impact on your health, negative. So it's okay to talk, because at the end of the day, we're actually told men should be the breadwinner, should be stoic, should be dominant, and all that. Inherently, these are not bad things, right? But at the end of the day, these are what are pushing men to become silent and not be able to talk about their issues. So we need to create an environment whereby men can come out, talk about their issues openly, whereby we are not judging them, we are becoming empathetic towards them, and then we are validating their feelings by just ensuring that and encouraging them to talk about this particular issue by telling them it's okay not to be okay, because all of us undergo this stressful situation. And I love using the human brain or comparing the human brain to a computer or your smartphone, right? Whenever you have a lot of things stored in your computer or your laptop, it starts to hang, right? You'll take it to an IT expert to be fixed immediately. What about your brain? Where do you take it? You take it to a maladaptive coping mechanism, something like alcohol, right? But at the end of the day, we have the positive coping mechanism that we can always engage in. So it's okay not to be okay. Let us reach out for help, and help is always there. Thank you.
Men in the house.
Ahu.
Men in the house.
Ahu.
It's been a learning experience. How many have learned? Have learned. And I really appreciate the team. And I think we thought we would have a plenary, but the way it looks, as I mentioned, the clouds are gathering, and it looks like God is going to bless us with a downpour at some point. So probably kindly allow us to cancel the plenary, probably, but we can take maybe 1 or 2 questions from the group. And
3 questions.
pardon?
3 questions.
3 questions.
Yes.
Start
Nice. So we can have 3 questions.
Start with me.
Okay.
My question goes to my colleague, Daktari. This is a very sensitive issue that comes into therapy room. You talked about ED. You talked about men going for assistance, either medical or psychotherapy, to ensure that they are like this. But we've had issues.
Colleagues who are diabetics, for example, it tends as a disease, it tends to affect them. And when such a scenario is there and you have a health condition, the health experts are going to actually help you, especially if you seek this help or therapy together as a couple, because then the health specialists or professions will be able to help your partner understand where you lie or where you are, so that if it's a health issues, then they can also help you to overcome it, and together you enjoy yourselves. Have I answered?
Thank you. Thank you. Another quick question from the... Okay, I'm going to give you the mic.
Hi everyone. My question is, and like, I will speak for myself. My question is like, I've noticed there's a pattern with victimhood for men, like, is not probably believed, or it's easier to believe the problems of women, and there's some stigma that comes with, especially, okay, I'm 25 years of age, with online, a difference. When you get online and start living life, you feel like the stigma of online is like 80% of the narratives are probably propagated in a different light, and when you come back to reality, there's a mismatch. No, so my question is like, I've noticed like the victimhood works for women in a way that it doesn't work for men. When men victimize or talk about their problems, so that's my question.
To be able to balance, because men are feeling they are victim in any decision. When it comes to law, the man is a victim. When it comes to my dress, my choice, the man is a victim. When it comes to issues to do with consensual sex, a man can be turned against to say, I'm a Nikula by force. Is that what you mean? Younger men.
For younger men, I've noticed a pattern. Yeah, even the high rates of depression and killing, I think deeply problems of young men.
Yes, and young men, it's because when we go take across, say let's go to our universities. In my class, the ladies who are there hardly moved with some of us. Kweli rongo? Walikuwa wanapata majamaa wa hali ya juu who are already stratified. Go for example to Kwetu, one of the Kwetu hostels. Look at the kind of vehicles parked there. Guys, do you think you can compete with them?
No.
So that really means women have advantage over men. It's because women as young as when we are at the university level, they already know money and they are dependents of men. So I don't know how we can reverse that cycle where women are depending on men and they learn to live with it, and as old as she is, she still wants a man to support. So the level and the age of my younger brother here, they are at disadvantage that they are not able to cope with women and ladies of their age. So who can answer this question? Because I seem also to be stuck.
Let me just briefly give a take. Is that there is what we call provision, and traditionally there has been either men have been known to be providers, and as a man mentally, it really affects you if you're not able to adequately provide. And when it comes to relationships, your odds are stacked against somebody who is doing better than you financially. And that is one. Two, another take, as he had mentioned, is that because we men don't have spaces that we talk about what we're going through, we find that any stereotype that comes into the media space is already stacked against men, because women will always talk about their issues. Okay? So, as the Man Talk Space team, and I think that is whatever the team, Alan and team are promoting, is that men need to start talking about issues affecting them. Okay? We need to come to a level ground that we are able to have conversations with men, other men, and also have conversations with women about our issues, so that we have a level ground to handle our issues. So we will take the last question. After that, I will hand over to Mr. Alan, who will introduce briefly Jennifer Cheke to share her story, and also finalize the discussion. So he'd asked a question, so I will hand over the mic to you so that we can, in a quick 3 minutes, then somebody answers as we conclude.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Amos Gigi. I'm from Jubilee Zonas. For my question is about the heart. I think Tayo is Kanasha. I wanted to know the reason for heartburns. And on the case, if you reiterate about the cure, what can you do to reduce or to make a zero return on heartburns? Thank you.
I would hand over that to Dr. Tayo to answer briefly. Thank you, Dr. Tayo.
Okay, so when it comes to heartburn, it's an interesting. The name comes from the fact that you feel a burning sensation in the chest, and it's usually around where we think the heart is, essentially. But it actually doesn't have anything to do with the heart. It's actually as a result of excessive amounts of acid being produced in the stomach, which then starts to what we call reflux up into the pipe for the food. And so when there's no food there and there's a lot of acid that tends to be refluxing up the esophagus, it produces a burning sensation in the chest. Yes. So that usually tells us that there's something going on with the stomach, not so much actually the heart. Although there's a unique situation, mainly with women, where when some women are actually having a heart attack, it can present like heartburn for some ladies. But mainly with regards to heartburn, you tend to see it when you eat either very, very proteinaceous foods of foods that are acidic. So things like oranges, lemons, things like that, and then you start getting this burning sensation in the chest. So usually, when it comes to heartburn, what we advise is that you either avoid very acidic foods, or if it really disturbs you, we can then give some medications that can reduce the acid produced in the stomach. But if it persists, then it's important to go for a checkup and have what's called an endoscopy done to see if there's anything unusual going on in the stomach.
And thank you so much. And on that note, for those who have consistently chronic hyperacidity, we have a clinic. We have a gastro clinic that runs from. We have in a week we have 4 gastro clinics running in our hospital. That is on Monday, on Wednesday, on Friday, and on Thursday. So that's 4 days. So you're welcome. If it's something that has been long-standing, you're welcome to attend the clinic so that you can have a doctor look at it, because it's not normal for it to be long-standing. For short instances here and there, due to food, it's okay. But if it's long-standing, you definitely need to see a specialist. And Mr. Paul Nderitu, 1 minute for you as we hand over to the ManTalk team.
Thank you, Tim. My name is Paul Derito. For the young guys, because I think I'm the oldest person in this group, I'm 56 years old. We've been married for the last 30 years. But for the young guys, be understanding to your women. Don't fear women. My wife and I sponsored her for the diploma and then for the degree. She's ahead of me in education, but just for agreement, just sit together, understand each other, everything will be okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You see, it's good to have a perspective from somebody who has lived it. And on that note, I don't want to take much time. I would like to invite the team from TheManTalkSpace so that they're able to take us through the rest of the program. Thank you so much. It's been nice having you. Thank you for the team, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to moderate this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie. It's going to be a brief one. Naitwa Alan, they call me Asa. I'm one of the reps wa TheManTalkSpace. Tuko pamoja na Generali Kuja. That's Generali, that's our boss. We have a mess here, Kimodo, sorry. At TheManTalkSpace, come. TheManTalkSpace. Our objective is very easy, it's very simple. We get men to talk. Our work is to get men to talk. We champion we use this platform to get men to talk. That's our core business. Because we believe that the moment, or as long as a man is not talking, that man is fighting. We will say you stop talking, you start fighting. So many men are fighting. And listen, there is no wicked fight than when a man is fighting himself. Because when you're not talking, whether you're not talking to yourself or you're not talking to people, you are fighting with yourself. Na zile vitu unapigana wewe mwenyewe ni mbaya sana, ni ngumu kushinda zile vitu unafanya nini? Unapigana na watu huko nje. So as the TheManTalkSpace, our objective is just to create a platform, to create a safe space where men can generally talk about anything and everything. As in, there is no limit to what we can not talk as men. Are we together? So we welcome men. I know men here, men have issues. By the way, we always say this. As long as you're not talking, as long as men are not talking, we're not safe. The world can only be a safe space and a safe place as long as men feel safe enough to talk about what they're going through. As long as men are not talking about what they're going through,
the world can never and will never be a safe space for anyone. We can only create a safe world when we are safe enough to talk about the things that hurt the most or the things that have harmed the most. You know, so but also we encourage men to build those valuable support systems so that when you have to talk, you know who to talk to. We create that space where a man can be vulnerable enough to talk about these things and never feel ashamed of them, never feel judged about the things they are dealing with, because men are dealing. Listen, look at a man around you. You see these men. These men are fighting demons and devils. These people are fighting demons and devils, and the only reason they are fighting these things is because they are not talking about these things. Let me give you a very brief one. I'll show you the importance of having to build a support system, very valuable support system, especially among men. I came home one day after 17 years. I came home one day. In fact, I'd left home around 3. I came home around 8, and my people were not there. After 17 years, just like that. I remember I sat on that chair. Actually, there was no even chair to sit on because the house was empty. And I sat there with my bag for over 5 hours, and I didn't know what to do. I just didn't have an idea. Listen, and this is the importance of having safe spaces where you can talk about these things. Because, and that's why I thank God for people like Mason and Generali. After those 5 years of sitting there and thinking about everything that I could think about, then I asked myself, who am I going to talk to about what I'm seeing? You know? At that moment, you are thinking about doing anything and everything. But again, you know, there are men I can call. There are people I can call, and they can come, and we can sit down, and we can talk about what the problem is, what the solutions are, and what is the way forward. And that's what we do in Mantalk. We always go for what's the problem, what are the solutions, and what is the way forward. So I called the men, and I said, listen, bro, by the way, and then I start talking about it. And then you start talking about it, then you realize, kumbe kuna watu kuja pia umewacha wasemagi. That's when you realize kumbe watu waliwacha na hawana nguvu ya kusema. They don't have the guts to talk about the things they are going through. By the way, it's until you start speaking, and then you'll realize the person sitting next to you maybe is dealing with the same demon you are dealing with. But it's until you opened your mouth and did what? And started talking. So as men, as a Mantalk space, that's what we do. We create that environment where I cannot feel ashamed even for a second to say, you know what, Mimi, I'm a 1 minute man, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Somehow I can't just get my woman satisfied. Period. Then we ask ourselves, okay, let's find out what the problem is. Let's figure out what the solutions are. Then let's discuss the way forward. So you're welcome to the Mantalk Space, by the way. For those who have Android phones, go to YouTube, the Mantalk Space, follow us through. We create that environment on social media, all social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, whether it's whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube. We create safe space for men to be vulnerable enough to talk about the things they are dealing with, and you will never hear your story. You know, kuna watu wanatuaga stories watu kama ushuhuda. Wala watu wanasema unaanza kutuenda kutoa ushuhuda. You know, unaanza kusema vile no, we don't talk about the things we hear. Even when I open up to them, I know it remains with who? With them. It remains with them. I'm not going to hear it from anyone else about the things I'm dealing with personally. Are we together? So that's what we do as a Mantalk space. Just create that platform, create that a space where men feel free enough to talk about the things they're dealing with. But also we help men to turn around from things like stereotypes, because there are things like, for example, a good example. There is a man who is dying in a relationship simply because he feels he's not empowered enough to take care of his family. And sometimes we ask ourselves, does it have to be the man doing what actually the wife can help him do. And men are dealing with these things because, like we said, okay, traditionally, yeah, men are providers, and I believe in that 100%. But what happens that day when you don't have? Not because sio ati ukuagi nayo, unajua kuna ule mtu akuagi nayo kila siku. Kuna ule mtu amekosa siku ngapi? Labda siku moja mambili. How do you go about that as a woman? There's a man who would feel he's not a man enough simply because he did not provide maybe for his family enough, or he didn't bring home what was appreciated by the family. So we also try to get men to change. We say change only comes when you do what? You say what in our backs? Yes, be the change, but do what first? Cut the what? Cut the chain. Cut the chain. And one of those things we need to deal with are stereotypes. Some of us, we are held back by stereotypes meant to hold chini to a point where we can't help even ourselves because we believe things that are not even true in the first place. So we're happy to have you guys. And at this moment, we have our mom here. Allow me to invite her to just briefly share with us about her story. She's a cancer survivor. Mom, come. You have a minute. Just summarize it for us. The experience. Share that. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. The event organizers, the doctors, all the participants. Naitwa Moyo wa Shege, wamezoea kuniita Jennifer. At one point waliniita Jennifer wa AIDS. You can imagine what it is associated with, HIV and AIDS. But later on, after the project of HIV went down, I went into other things. And among the things I'm doing, I am working with women. Women in groups, where we do community education. We share the kind of dynamics men are trying to share today. We share resources, we put our monies together and borrow. But most of all, and I find it very important, mushene. Sema mushene. Who can tell me what mushene is? Somebody tell me what mushene is. Gossip. We talk about anything and everything. Amongst those groups, we also have men groups. But they will never talk in grouping. One could come and whisper something to me or to another one. But when they are sitting together, they will never share. So I'm very excited about this forum, especially the mentor, who I work very closely with, because I have a relation with them, and I have a preference also to try and bring boys back, because I can see, everybody can see what is happening to young men. Now, to my story. My story started in the year 2012. Have I taken a minute already? One more after. 2012, when I felt a lump as big as a bean, or as small as a bean, on my breasts. And I told a friend about it. She never felt it, but we went to the hospital anyway. Went to the hospital, the doctor could not find it, and everybody thinks I'm mad. And I said, no, it is there. Daktari ona mtu mwingine, wacha nikae hapa niitafute. So I sat outside and actually felt it again. And I took it to the doctor holding. And the doctor actually felt it. So obviously the process of trying to find out what it is, and so on and so forth, benign, then eventually it is cancer, and there it was. The bombshell. You have breast cancer. What do you think happened to me? I'm definitely going to die. Sindio? Sasa cancer, that time, 2012. Not today, that time, 2012. Who had survived of cancer? I knew nobody. Everybody I had cancer is death. So I happened to have been diagnosed in a private hospital. And my decision was to go to a public institution so that I just die. Hakuna kushida ukiuhirerio, ukuve na vitu yako yote, ile kaploti yangu niko nayo Ruai iende, kijaribu kutibiwa cancer. So nikaenda Kenyatta kukufa. So I met this doctor, allow me not to mention his name. And he told me, and who told you you are going to die? Ambia kwani cancer inabakishaga mtu. So I went through another process of diagnosis, classifying, and so on, which took 3 months. Now in these 3 months, nothing happened to me. Kukufa. Nothing is happening to me. So I went back to the doctor and asked him, in one of the processes of the 3 months, asked him, and are you sure cancer kills? Aki haiwani. Ningekuwa nimekufa. Akaniambia nani alikwambia unakufa? So he already has started helping me to change that cancer is not death. And rate is not death. For 3 months, I've not even been given a Panadol. Sasa hiyo ni ugonjwa? Kweli? Hakuna. So the analyses were done and whatever tests required were done. I went through mastectomy, the removal of the breast. I went through chemotherapy and very many sessions of radiotherapy. Fortunately, last year, is it last year or this year? Last year in August, I was declared cancer-free. Very thankful to God for that. And among the doctors, the many doctors and friends who helped encourage me through that process, my family and everybody who knew me, because I used to talk like a mad person. You know? You do not have cancer, I'm just going to die. So I had become like kichwa imeharibika. But apparently I was letting it go. Bila kujua. It didn't matter what people said. It didn't matter. And they said, and they said, and they said, I would walk out of the house without progresses when you see someone is looking at you like this, right there, to see you what is the breast is there. Sometimes they'll even ask you a very stupid question. When someone has come to see you in hospital and known that you don't have one breast, and nakuuliza na kwani hii matiti yako haitoshani, and she even came to see you in the hospital. Nawambia na haiwezi toshana sababu hata sio kutoshana hakuna. So I was talking like not knowing that it was a process of healing, it was a fight. I was fighting with my situation, but it turned out to be helpful. Another thing that was very, very important was prayers. My mother happened to have been very prayerful. So when I was told I have cancer, I called my mother. No, my mother called me for something that was supposed to happen tomorrow. Our village had about 3 funerals, and my mom had to distribute. Fulani ataenda kwa mama fulani, wewe utaenda kwa mama fulani. Namuuliza unaniambia niende? Niyo na akili kukuendea kuende cancer. That's how I told my mother that I'm actually dying of cancer. That's how I told my mother. She happened to have been with ladies. Wakasimamisha gari, wakaniombea. And I actually, but if I realize well, between that time nilimwambia and the time I left now the hospital, ilikuwa kama nimekuwa stable. So I believe those prayers helped. And all along. The other one was the support of my family, and especially my son, who I'll let you know who he is before I leave here. I can see him around. Men are not known to be caregivers. But apparently my son walked with me from day 1 to the last day. They are not known to be caregivers. Kama ulikula, haukukula, that is not the main business. Theirs is to provide. Si umesikia wakisema, leo ni kuprovide. So I had my son walk with me, always there, always knowing what is happening, following on my treatment, questioning the doctor, and that also was quite helpful. I also had a friend, unfortunately she later on died of cancer. I've lost her, may she rest in peace. And then I had now the women all around, all the groupings. Wakitoka chama wanapitia kwangu. There is one big thing I thought about, the nutritionist. I knew I was going to vomit. So I was always prepared with a second meal. After I vomit, I eat again. Na kitu tuliambiana na Mungu, mimi najua nakufa. Lakini kama nimekonda, relevant, mwenye uhai akitaka, atachukua. And here I am, 12 years later, still working. I might not be able to work as hard as I used to, lakini sina stress. Sina stress. Nasitaki kukonda, lakini ukiniita nilikuwa nataka kufanya zumba, nimechelewa. Sasa thank you all for listening to me. I have 3 sons here. Wako wapi? Next. Okaya. This is my family. I'll say it's my family for one thing. For many things. This is my real son. Wangu wa kuzaa, Moses. My first and last born. He had a twin brother. We lost him round about that time, 2011. This is Alan. Alan is an elder son to Moses. Tunaishi pamoja, and I have known him for a very long time. Michael is also my son. Yeah, tayari tunakaanga na wao huko. So I see what they do and where I can help, I help. And if there's anything I can be able to do with them, I'm able to do. And there are many. Wanakuanga wengi. I don't know where the others are. Thank you very much for the invite. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Mother. Mother, before you go, generally, and someone talk kuzawadia. Yes, that's one from TheManTalkSpace. Yes, thank you for your support. We appreciate and we value a lot. Let's appreciate her again. Great. We're almost done. Mom is saying if you have a question on her, please feel free to ask, but we're almost done for now. We invite you to partner with us individually. We want to push the conversations about men further into as many platforms as possible. We want men to heal. And for men to heal, we have to get men to talk. Like I said, our objective, our goal is to get men to talk about anything and everything. That's the only way we're going to heal this society. So we in campuses, we in the community, we talk to very elderly men. We sit down with very elderly men or people and just have conversations about what it means to be a man, especially in the times that we're living right now. At this moment, I wish we could have reps from different people who are here, like for example, Jubilee, not to talk, just come. If any rep, any team leader, please come. Team leader from Bird, where they? Mouse come, Glow, Homes, Sweet, any rep, any representative. Maybe, Jubilee Insurance, we have Lapez. If you have any reps, just come. Maybe just stand here. You can just do an introduction. Just say your names and maybe in one word what you're doing. Sit down. And then I'll ask Asha on behalf of the current hospital, maybe to come and give us a vote of thanks. We start with who? Please, bro. Just name one word, please.
Salala Tranquil Med Center, Head of Psychology Department.
Hello, my name is Josephine. We are here to help men groom and stay clean. Not clean, groom men and stay good. So we run the Caris Barber Shop, Salon and Spa just across at the My Town Mall. We have partnered with Karen Hospital before on the Nurses International Day, and we're inviting you there. We have very good space for men. We thought about men. We ensured that they come there, they have an opportunity to relax and enjoy themselves. Just pop in and see what we have there. Karibuni.
Asante. What we'll hope you can invite us one day. We can come and do a short podcast from your barbershop. Please, we will be glad to come. Because this is November, it's No Shave November, so utatuona hii mwezi. Ama mwezi inaisha leo, right? So utatuona kesho.
Sioni mandevu, but I can tell you one thing. Men are starting to take care of themselves. I'm from a health background, so it's interesting. I'm in beauty and grooming. But our first observation at Caris, we realized that our spa was picked up with men. When they come, they do their shave, and our shave is also combined with a neck and head massage. So it's not just a shave, you shave and walk out. We want to make sure when you come out, you just didn't come for a shave. You're feeling a little bit better and relaxed. So, and they also go ahead and do the spa. So we are congratulating men, by the way. They have taken up self-care. I'm starting to get worried about women because when I look at the statistics on the spa, I'm like, well, the men, they are doing well. So come and try. We can do your toes. You can do everything. We have a good space for men. Please, you can do a podcast there next time, and welcome.
I think the reason why men are coming is because wamerealize hao wasichana wanapenda watu wanaluka wanakaa vizuri vizuri. Wanataka watu wanakaa vizuri vizuri, si ndio?
Hi, good afternoon everyone. So my name is Alvin Mwawasi. I am a 6th-year medical student in the University of Nairobi, and basically I'm here with some of my classmates, and we are part of an initiative called Warrior Glow that helps cancer patients to cope with the side effects of treatment. So as guys, we noticed throughout our rotations in school that basically there's a lot of focus on the treatment, but people don't focus on the side effects of chemotherapy, the side effects of surgery, and these are some of the things that plague, like you had said today, problems of fatigue and problems of scars and hair, and also with men, problems of incontinence, especially when it comes to prostate cancer. So that's just, yeah, basically we focus on dealing with the side effects of these various modalities of treatment. And I'd like to invite all of you to a workshop we're actually having at the end of this next week on Friday the 6th. This is going to be focused around men specifically and their challenges. So it's going to be almost like an extension of what we've been doing here. It will be in Kenyatta at the Cancer Treatment Center. So yeah, thank you for having us. And yeah, I really enjoyed this platform and I look forward to having more like it.
Good afternoon. My name is Donald Dawili. I'm an insurance consultant. So today we are here as Jubilee Insurance Health to be able to guide you as men in terms of the health covers for your families. We have different covers starting from J seniors for your parents, your family, medical health. You can take a cover for your child alone called the junior covers. And we have different prices. So we're inviting you to our desk. Please come. Let's discuss your health matters. Sometimes when you're in the field, we meet ladies, they're telling us, so the men in the house, please, this is the time you can come and shop and cover for your family. So thank you very much for having us.
Afternoon all. Yeah, my name is Victoria Njori. I'm marketing executive at Bowes Optical. The founder of Bowes Optical is a young gentleman from 2002. He has been in Kenya industry, and when he was approached by the Man Talk, he said he can't let it go. So we are here presenting him, and he's very grateful for the platform given by the current hospital and the doctors. We just say thank you and the Man Talk. So the services we are doing today, they are all free eye checkup. So most of the patients will get them, we'll refer them. Currently we have 34 branches countrywide. So karibuni sana. If you have your lenses, bring them, we clean for you, free. Small repairs, we are going to do them. So karibuni sana.
Good afternoon. My name is Ian Wanjohi. I'm here representing Manful Grooming, a Pan-African grooming and hair care company. So we have a couple of products for the men. If you're experiencing anything like hair loss, if you're trying to grow a beard, if you're trying to groom your beard, keep it well kept, visit us at the bazaar. I'll be around. If you have any questions about beard care and hair care, feel free to come and ask me.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Emma Kahara, the founder of Lepaz Insurance Agency. With 13 years of experience in the insurance industry, we partner with different insurance companies to give you the best products that we have in the market. So today, when we got the opportunity to come and showcase what we have, we thought about cancer and the terminal illnesses that are draining families and people's wealth. So we have very good products, and today we were very keen on promoting the critical illness cover, which is a standalone cover, where you can take a cover of even 5 million based on your age, and you can pay as little as 2,000 per month. You can imagine, as much as we have the medical covers, you don't have the critical illness cover in that medical that can take care of that illness if you are diagnosed with a critical illness. So the moment you're given your 5 million, your 2 million, it will be able to give you the peace of mind of managing that sickness, even if it will not be able to manage the whole of the process, but at least we'll be able to give you something. So we are here with my team representing Lepaz Insurance Agency. We have many other products, life insurance, inheritance and legacy planning products. So you're free to visit us at the tent. Just leave us with your contact, then we can get back to you. Our office is in Kilimani, Chaka Road, Titan Complex, on the first floor. Santeni sana.
Good afternoon. My name is Asha Hikiara, the head of wellness, and I'm very grateful today that you've all gathered here At the Karen Hospital, we are fully fed hospital with all the services, all the medical services. I will talk more about what I specialize on, that is wellness. Wellness, we know wellness encompasses so many things, mental, physical, financial, and all of that. So for us, we major on physical, and that's where we encourage each one of you to do your annual medical checkup. So at the Karen Hospital, we are known. Our checkup is quite comprehensive, very detailed, and it's something that you do once a year. And this time we have a discount on subsidized prices, so that each one of us can get to enjoy that and know our status and take care of our bodies. I will give back the mic to.
Oh, okay. Can you please allow this team to take a very quick photo with on this lady, please? And then, as I invite Wangari Demisi, the CEO, the Karen Hospital, to give us a vote of thanks. Okay?
Or we can do the photo first, so that yes. Let's do. Do you want to also be the facilitators, or just you want to have the facilitators as well? Okay. Good afternoon. Yes, I want to thank each one of you for allowing us to host you today. This was our first ever Men's Health Awareness Day, and we believe we have laid a very strong foundation for this annual event, even in the coming years. And being the premier event, we are really honored for each one of you making the time to be with us today. And to our panelists, as well as the facilitator, thank you for a great job done. In fact, we were saying this conversation from Monday will be trending on all our digital platforms, because I believe it's not just meant for the people who have gathered here today, but we want to be able to reach out to as many men out there as possible, and want to encourage you to also follow us on our digital platforms and fan this information to spaces in our space. At the Karen Hospital, we are committed to ensuring that we offer quality, affordable, and accessible healthcare services. We have the main hospital as well as 8 branches across different counties. We are in Meru, we are in Nyeri, Karatina, Thika, CBD, Naivasha, Rongai, and Nakuru. So any services that we are offering here, especially outpatient, we are also able to offer the same in all those branches. Secondly, I know the MC also talked about the Heart to Heart Foundation. That is our charity arm, and it's been in existence now for over 30 years. And we are assisting children from very underprivileged backgrounds to access the much needed heart surgeries. We also have a training college, and I'd like to confirm that for 3 years running, we have been the top institution ranked by Nursing Council of Kenya, producing also the best nurses in the country. And finally, we want to also encourage you to be part of what we are doing, especially for our Heart to Heart Foundation. We have the Heart Run coming up next year, so please follow us on all our social media platforms and ensure that you keep engaging with us. Finally, would like to welcome you to experience our services over and above, of course, what we've discussed today. And we want you to not fear us from the road. Welcome. We are willing to have discussions with institutions, with individuals, and see how we can help you access these much needed services. So we look forward to seeing you within the hospital. You don't have to be sick to come to a hospital. Asha has talked about wellness packages, and they are as low as 5,000 shillings. And with 5,000 shillings, you are at least assured that for the rest of the year, there is something that the doctor has taken time to look at, and I'm sure our doctors here have very eloquently talked about that. And you have peace of mind to be able to do other things that you do in life. So asanteni sana, and please commit to be with us again next year this time, so that then we can make sure that we develop this program and perpetuate it even to the years ahead. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Let's celebrate our CEO. Have you guys had a good day? Did you guys enjoy? Was it worth your time? Are you sure? Why don't you give your neighbor a smile and tell them you smell good? Is it smell? Smell good. Can you now kiss your neighbor? No, we'll not do that. We'll not do that. We don't want to. Yeah, so I want us to be on our feet again. Let's be on our feet. I want us